Hi there, it's Therese and Lostinpaper, and I'm really excited to be part of the July video hop with Altenew. They are releasing some press plates that combine with the BetterPress system with spellbinders. I know, isn't it awesome news? These are called Dainty Flower Garden, and in true Altenew style, these flowers are stunning. If you haven't seen the BetterPress system yet, it basically gives you the letterpress look on your cards, and it does this by impressing the image onto some cotton cardstock. So it's really easy to use. I've just added the cotton cardstock to the guide on the lid of the BetterPress. This base plate, or the chase, is actually magnetic, and this ink is special. It is kind of similar to the archival ink, and this one's called BetterPress Black, and I'll tell you why I'm using that in just a moment. I do find that I need to ink the image quite a bit. I'm still learning the feel for the system, and when I roll it through my die cutting machine to add the pressure to get the impression, I do that nice and slowly. This ink dries really quickly, and the reason that I'm using this specific ink today is because I want to do some simple watercoloring. And I'm using the cotton cardstock that comes with the BetterPress system because it's actually formulated to work really well with the impression and give you the best look, but you could try others. If you've got other cardstock, you could give it a go. This sort of feels similar to some of the cotton watercolor cardstocks, and that's why I thought I would try it with the artist's watercolors today. And spoiler alert, it worked beautifully. Like the color blends, I didn't have any problems with creating this wash of color. I sometimes struggle with this on some of the cardstocks. Basically, I could just add the water and follow the wet edge of the watercolor around and create a washed look background. That worked just beautifully, and it dried really pretty. It didn't leave too many kind of sharp lines. Next, I thought it'd be fun to add a wash of colour to the image itself, and that worked really well. You can also use the Altenew Fresh Dye inks to do the impressions. The reason I didn't use them today was because I wanted to do the watercolour technique, and they're a water-based ink, so they would have actually bled into the cardstock once I started colouring. I also wanted to see how this cardstock went with splattering, and I just used the same blue colour to add some splats over the top of the image. I am protecting both my sentiment and the flower with a piece of cardstock, just because when you splat, it's always going to end up exactly where you don't want it to. So once that was dry, I just cut the panel down and popped it up on some dark grey, on a dark grey cardstock base. Just kept it really simple. So for my second card today, I actually stamped out or pressed out exactly the same image a second time using the BetterPress Black ink, because this time I wanted to just do a little bit more fine colouring on the actual image and see how that went. One of the great things about these particular style of flowers is that they really give you a great guide on where the shades and shadows and where to add the depth with your colour to, where all those lines are, like almost like the etch marks from the letterpress look. So I did about 3 or 4 different layers of colour here, and between each layer I actually let each dry. I just find that colouring the petals separately and also adding lots of different layers to the watercolours does add more depth to your image. So I did actually come in and add some more depth using the Cool Summer Night. That just, I think, really gave this flower some life. I will list all the colours that I've used here today at my blog, and you'll see some more pics there, and that'll be linked in the description below. The other thing I wanted to say was that if you don't have the artist watercolors, you can actually watercolor with your water-based inks. So if you've got any of the fresh dye inks or any of the crisp dye inks from Altenew, you can achieve the same look with those. Just smush them onto a palette and add some water and pick it up with your paintbrush, literally like I'm doing with the watercolors here. So I cut this panel down and popped it up on the front of a card with some black cardstock behind it. And I'd like to know, which card is your favourite? Did you like the nice bright floral, or was the washy kind of grey and blue look more to your... I hope that you're enjoying today's hop and maybe you're inspired to do a little bit of watercolouring today. Thanks for joining me here, and you can find the next stop on the hop linked in the description below. Till next time, happy paper crafting. Bye.